And Tokyo has returned to its highest COVID-19 alert level after a spike in infections. The city has reported 165 new cases as the daily count continues to exceed 100. The infections are no longer limited to specific places or regions, given the rise in untraceable cases. Tokyo's governor has urged residents to stay vigilant, stressing the current situation is quite serious. The latest clusters include the city's nightlife districts, some workplaces, as well as a theatre in Shinjuku. Grace Lee joins us live for more on this. Grace, how are authorities clamping down on Tokyo's recent clusters as well as untraceable cases?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, Tokyo's governor today did come on TV to make a plea to residents to be more careful in general. Don't go out unless it's absolutely necessary. Stay away from crowded areas. And of course, make sure that you're not putting anyone elderly at risk by being too close to them. But again, these are very general kind of guidelines for people to follow. And critics say that the alert level being raised today doesn't actually do much for people who live here, and that there aren't any hard measures that are preventing Tokyo's COVID-19 numbers from going up. So there is a lot of concern from residents here, even as we see the alert level go up. Will Tokyo go back into a state of emergency? Well, authorities here have said that they don't want to do that, but they're not saying what the alternative is. So there is a lot of tension here.
Grace, has the infection spike curtailed the government's push to restart domestic tourism, which we know is going to happen next week?
Surprisingly, no. Japan's central government announced today that they are pushing ahead with this initiative, which would see the government subsidizing travel costs for people who are willing to travel domestically. And that comes amid a lot of opposition from local authorities who say that's putting rural areas at risk of COVID-19. And a lot of these rural areas don't have the necessary doctors, healthcare professionals, or equipment to deal with a surge of COVID-19 cases. A good example of that is recently Tokyo travelers went to Okinawa. It turned out they were positive for COVID-19. Okinawa had not seen a single case in months before that. And so we're going to continue to see more instances like that if this travel plan does go ahead, which is set to start next week. And the central government will have a lot of questions to answer if things get out of hand.
Well, thank you very much for that. Grace Lee speaking to us from Tokyo. Once again, the capital has returned to its highest COVID-19 alert level after a spike in infections.